Welcome to the Normal People Fitness Podcast. My name is Steve Marsden, and we're going to talk about getting fit, getting healthy, feeling good, while eating the things you want to eat and doing the things you want to do. Hello, fine people. Hope you are well. It is Steve here. If you don't know who I am, I'm a personal trainer and gym owner. We run this podcast out of our gym in Livingston, which is in West Lothian, between Edinburgh and Glasgow. And this is a podcast for normal people. If you're just a normal folk, maybe you're busy, maybe you're a professional, maybe you've got a job, maybe you've got kids. We try and condense a lot of complex information. Pretty much it. I'm with my co-host Natasha. How you doing, Natasha?
I'm good, thanks. How's you?
Yeah, really good.
Good. No mourning from us this morning.
Both obviously eaten and slept well.
Eaten and slept. And I've got my jumper on, so I can't mourn about the cold either.
Exactly.
Happy
Jesus.
days.
What an amazing day. I might write this in my gratitude journal later. Natasha didn't complain. Oh, yeah, baby. Cool. So we're going to go over a few things today. We've got questions from the gym floor. We'll have a little catch up. Everything's open. Scottish Government has not thwarted my plans for world domination and combating obesity and type 2 diabetes. Cool. What have you been up to?
Just busy here.
Yeah, you've been here, but you do some courses, stuff like that.
Yeah, I have been. I did a really good 4-week female anatomy and physiology course on like pelvic floor stuff and menstrual cycle and all that good stuff, hormones, etc., which is right up my street. So yeah, just doing bits and bobs.
Good, we've got to know about that stuff.
Yeah.
It affects you.
It does massively.
Yeah,
so.
And if people don't know that, then, and they put a stone on, and you're like, oh, have you ever thought about this?
Yep.
Boom. Good. What else?
Podcast listening, book. Oh, well, I was going to say book reading, audiobook listening. All that good stuff.
Boom. I like that. Lifelong learner.
Absolutely. Always.
Good. That's why you work for me. Learning all the time. Fucking love it. I'm going to have to put an explicit counter on that because of that little swear word that came out of my mouth.
Oh, really?
You got to click a little box when you put your podcast up.
That's a nightmare.
So that kids don't listen to it. Kids, if you're listening to me, your parents have done you a disservice and an injustice, okay? Right then. What are you reading at the minute, Natasha? Let's have a chat about that, because I think we should talk about this, because we both do this sort of thing, but we never chat about it.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm quite late to the party with this one, considering I've coached for a couple of years now, but 4-hour work week. It's my first time listening to that.
Is it?
Only halfway through, Tim Ferriss, 4-hour work week. Very good, actually, very good. I know that it's one of your faves.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, with all these business, personal development type books, you have to go, right, how does that apply to me? Mm-hmm. So the idea of this book, if you haven't read it, dear audience, is you can systemize and automate a lot of things in your life that allows you to concentrate on the things you love to do. But this guy called Tim Ferriss, and Tim Ferriss has got a really good podcast. He's got another book that I like called Tools of the Titans, where he interviews people at the head of their fields. What makes you successful? What do you do? But 4-hour work week essentially is he decided to see how much of his businesses he could automate, so he could take what he called mini retirements. Is that what he calls them? Can't remember. But He takes 6 months off and he goes to dance in Argentina and do all these things. That book shifted my mindset in terms of, okay, what tasks am I doing that I absolutely hate to do that I could either delegate or automate? And it's pretty good. I'd just be careful because the title invokes this idea that you could work 4 hours a week.
Yeah.
And it's not simply the case, depending on what you want to do in the world. Yes, it's the case for some people, and technology is amazing. But I think he tells a story of a guy in America, and he's on 60 grand a year, and he pays a guy in India to do his job for 30 grand a year, and he just sits at his desk.
Yeah. I think it's the whole work smarter, not harder notion, which I quite like. So yeah. You work hard. I do work hard, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't work hard, but there's always ways to make your time more efficient. That's what it's all about.
All we've got is time, Natasha, and all of us are heading to the grave, and we have to make the most of that time.
Nice.
Yeah. Want to know what I've been reading based on that note?
What?
So I've just been to Cornwall on a holiday, as you know, which was great because it was the first proper break I've had in terms of just out of the bubble. because dear listeners, I live 10 meters away from the gym. So my bubble, what I do, it fits within like a 50-meter radius. It's lovely. Yeah, Morrison's is 25 meters away, 25 meters there and back, 50 meters. Beautiful. But you do get trapped. Sometimes I'll just pop into the gym with my dog. I'm like, all right, Natasha, what's going on? And yeah. So this is the first time out of the bubble. A few books I've read in the last couple of weeks. One is called, ready audience, ready to get bummed out a bit, Man's Search for Meaning. It's an existential book. It's by a guy called Viktor Frankl. And Viktor Frankl was a Jewish psychologist. And he got put in a concentration camp. And what he did when he was in there, Auschwitz, and he went to other places, was as the Nazis stripped them of their identity and meaning and belonging and took all hope from them, why did some people survive and some people not? And the outcome of this book is that no matter what happens to you and what can be like what happens in life, we can control our thoughts, our actions and our behaviours. And if you can protect in your mind what is important to you, then that's how you go on. So it was a book recommended to me by Tony Robbins on his podcast. I don't know Tony Robbins. I wish I did. Do you know who Tony Robbins is?
No.
Right. Your homework is to listen to his podcast. He's like the guru of motivation and who are you and what's your purpose in life and all of that stuff. He's really good.
You can see why you like him then.
Yeah, he's good. Well, again, the thing that makes us human is we're aware of our mortality, and I struggle with that, as you know. And anyway, this book gave me a new influence of some shit stuff happened to me. How do I act and behave? How do I choose that? I have read a book called The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. And Naval Ravikant is an early investor into things like Facebook, Twitter and stuff. But he has this amazing way of looking at life. And again, he's ruthless with time. He's courteous with people, which is something my dad always used to say to me. But he talks about what he finds important. And he has launched technologies and company, like groundbreaking stuff. He's got an amazing mind. Reread a book called Traction by Gino Wickman. That's a business book. That's really good. Just are your core values as a company done? I've spent a lot of time reading.
I was going to say, question for you. Do you read bits of all these books at the same time, or do you do one and then move on to the next?
Depends what I'm reading. I've got about 5 books I'm reading concurrently, depending on my mood. Yeah.
That makes me feel so stressed.
Why?
Because so you're like a machine gun type person, and I'm like a shotgun type person. So I can't remember what book it was that I read that described like different mannerisms in that way, or like how you go about tasks. But I like to finish a task before I start the next one, and like books and stuff like that. So it's like a shotgun, like one thing at a time. Whereas if you have the ability to sort of dip in and out of a few different things, it's like do.
How well do you know your weapons?
I think it's good to be able to identify what's what, so you know where you can thrive and stuff.
You know, a shotgun shoots 8 bullets in a scattered motion. I think you're a sniper rifle. If we're gonna liken you to a weapon, if we're being
technical about it, but that's what it said in the book, so that's what I'm quoting. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You're a weapon.
You know what?
Is that? I've heard someone in Scotland say that.
That can be a bad thing, but that can also be a good thing. That can mean that you're like really fit.
Do you mean in like an attractive way?
Yeah.
So boys call women weapons. Yeah.
Like
I wouldn't see that as a compliment.
Spice boy boys.
All weapons do is hurt people, Natasha. It's what they're invented for. Is that what you've done to people? Is that what you've done to these boys? Right, let's get off that. Anyway, yes, I'm reading 5 books concurrently at the minute. That makes me sound like a genius, and I like that that's happened, but it's not like that. So I'm reading a book on how the US Office was made, that sitcom, because I love that show. For those listeners, I don't know, maybe I've said this before, I did a theatre degree. And I still like to dip my toes into stuff. So it's how it was written, how they did the shows, as it became popular, all of that. That's like my Netflix book. When I'm trying to escape a little bit, I want to take my mind off the human condition. Yeah. My Auschwitz books. I read that. I've got my business books where it's like, right, the top people in the world who run businesses do this. Is there anything I can take from them to maybe make my business from this small little entity it is at the minute in the future to grow bigger?
Yep.
Yeah. How did they think? What thought process do they have? That to me is like work. And I make time every day to read at least a page or whatever. And I flip between, because I like to read a bit of a book and then think about it. Okay, how does that work? How does that apply to me? I've got my personal development book. So if you look at like Man's Search for Meaning, that's cool. That's just recommended as like, here, shit stuff's going to happen to you. How do you fortify your mind? I'm currently reading, I finished that, and I've started a book called Meditations by Marco Aurelius. He was a Roman general. He was the most powerful man in the world. And all he talks about in this book is a diary. It was never supposed to be published. Someone found it, published it. And at the minute, he's leading the Roman Empire in 181 AD. And all he's doing is saying how shit he is as a human. And he's like, oh my God, my dad said this and I can't do it. And And it's all these lessons he's learned.
That's fascinating.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. And all his struggles with being a person that we all have.
Yeah.
So even the most powerful man that has ever lived struggled a bit. And it's nice.
As they all do.
Yeah. Then what else am I reading? Yeah, just them random
This could
stuff.
go on for absolutely ever. This
really
could be a
could.
whole podcast itself.
Yeah, but long story short, I read a page, think about it, read another page, I get bored. It's like, this is just who I am and how I am. I finish books, but sometimes books, especially like newer business books, this is my head in about them. They go, here's the point. Here's 500 case studies. I'm like, right, I've got the point. See you later. Yeah.
But that's good though, because even in 4 Hour Work Week, the last chapter I was reading, it was talking about recognising when something's not good for you, and instead of finishing it for the sake of it, not wasting your time and finding something more worthwhile. So if a book's rubbish, chuck the book. It's
or
a good thing.
If you learn what you need to learn. But after a while, these things get repetitive. Or the worst thing is, it's when it's one idea, case studies, and then they try and sell you some at the end. Oh, come on. All right then. But yes, it's, I don't know. Reading is what reading is. I love reading. Just makes you think differently.
Yeah.
Makes you think differently. Right, enough of that.
Nerdy chat.
Yeah, sorry if anyone's bored by now. Go and pick up a book. Right. Let's chat what we're doing about diets and that, because I'm on it now.
Yeah, I was going to say you can start.
I'll start. Right. I've let myself go. I get, this is why we are probably good at what we do. Personal trainers, if you're listening to this, please forgive me, but I'm just human. I am a guy. I am a fat man dressed in sometimes a fat man's body, sometimes pretty athletic man's body, and it fluctuates. But I've had a really shitty year, let myself go. My health was not my priority. And I made the conscious decision that I would try and eat as healthy as I could. I would try and exercise the best that I could, but I was not bothered about any outcome. Anyway, now I am bothered about an outcome. Going on holiday in May next year, and I want to get to 12% body fat, we'll call it. Yeah, so here is how I have approached this, and I think this is useful because you get to see the whole picture. So if you train with us and you're listening to this, we give you a task every week to do, or every couple of weeks. But here's the whole picture. So sorted my calories out. Yeah, the average will be about 2,700 per day. I am a big guy. That will put me in a calorie deficit. They are different on different days. So I've given myself more on the weekends and on a Wednesday when I do the 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. shift. Doing a lot of steps that day. So I've weighted it to the days that I am more active or social. And then I've gone quite low on the other days, hitting 200 grams of protein a day, which is pretty easy because I know what to eat habitually. I eat those foods. I am supplementing now quite heavily, and I have outlined that on the supplementing podcast last week, but a lot of those are about general health. Zinc, magnesium, multivitamin, omega-369, vegan version, whey protein, then pre-workout and beta-alanine. Still got that addiction. I've limited my caffeine, etc. And then I'm going to work out 4 times a week.
On the ball.
That's it. Do that for 9 months. Shredded.
Sorted.
Yeah. Because the one thing, if I'm doing all of that, that's my plan. I just need to stick to it for a while until the goal happens. That's it. It is not any more complicated than that. Hey, Natasha.
Good. No, absolutely. Yeah,
Boom.
Good for you.
What are you doing? You on it or you not on it? It's okay if
I'm
you're
not
not.
on it.
Fine.
I'm not on it, in all honesty. Planning on getting back on it now that things are settling a little bit. Do you know what it is? It's my routines change all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And since I always take a break in exam time with still being at uni, so in May, that like whole month takes up exams for me, and I have this really annoying guilt that I need to start nipping in the bud because I've recognised it now and I need to do something about it. But if I'm studying, I'm like, oh, I feel guilty. I should be going to the gym. I should be looking after myself. I know I feel better for it, and then I'll come to the gym. I'll start working out. I'll be like, oh, I feel so guilty. I should be studying. This is cutting into my study time. And when I'm doing one thing, I wish I'm doing another, and it's vicious cycle. That since then I've kind of just been plodding along. But I will say that when I'm not on the ball, I'm still pretty on the ball. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I'm very. As much as it's not as consistent and I'm not tracking and stuff, I know exactly what I need to eat, and I would say I've completely maintained. I mean, I wouldn't say I've let myself go at all. I'm good at just sort of, knowing what I need, and I need to give myself a bit more credit sometimes, because even though I'm not like at peak, I'm still doing pretty good. Pretty good.
I think you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, thanks.
It's good. Just going back to what we said about the old shotgun sniper rifle thing. If your, I don't know, we'll call it values, is you focus on one task.
Yeah.
Then choosing to focus on one task and studying and saying, do you know what? I am not going to put 100% into exercise. I'll do it when I can. That's pretty cool, and it's congruent with what you said about how you read.
Yeah, I'm very, quite consistent across lots of aspects, like with the reading, lifestyle stuff.
Yeah.
That's just how I approach things.
I hate the word should. I hate it. I should be doing that. It implies that you are not doing good enough.
Yeah.
But what you're doing is your best.
Yeah, that's true, and it works. It works for me.
Yeah.
So, even though I'm not, like I say, at my peak, I'm still doing pretty good, and I'm still pretty happy food wise and training wise. So we're ticking along. I would say we're ticking away.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Look at that, normal people. We're normal people too. This is why we train you so well.
Yeah.
Because we get it. We absolutely get it. We're not making excuses. We've said, this is the priority. This is what I'll concentrate on. The priority will be later. Boom.
Cool.
Boom. Cool.
Easy days.
Yeah. Right, let's do some questions from the gym floor.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Got some interesting questions today. I quite like them because we actually get asked these ones all the time.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good. So let's go for shout out to Gladys here. I like Gladys.
I love Gladys.
Yeah, it's class. We love you, Gladys. How many days a week should you train for optimal results? Natasha, take it away.
Oh, that changes it a bit. You added 4 optimal results into there without warning.
All right. Let's get rid of the word optimal because Gladys did not use that word. How many days a week should I train for results?
Cool. So, I'd probably go about this from the sense, after someone does our trial, they say, oh, should I do, like the lowest package that we offer is 8 per month, so 2 a week. So I think minimum to see, not to see bare minimum results, because training on top of your eating that you need to be on board with as well obviously makes a massive, massive difference. It's not just the 3 hours or 2 hours a week you're in the gym, it's everything else on top. So kind of depends how you're managing that. But I would say if you're training just once a week, it's not going to do much for the majority of people, I would say. So yeah, it really just depends on your lifestyle, what you can fit around it. I'd say, I don't know, you'll know the figures for this, Steve, but about 85-90% of people in the gym do the 3 a week with us.
Yeah.
And because it's full body, I mean, we answered this in a previous podcast when someone asked what kind of splits they should do, like upper, lower, full body, the classic bro split that we talked about. If you're doing full body, that's all you need to hit every muscle group a good amount of times, and we know what we're doing with our programming and stuff to make sure you're getting the absolute most out of that. And yeah, that's all that you need every week to do it. Yeah. So it just depends.
I'd be aiming three times.
Yeah.
Yeah. A minimum of 3 times. If you can make that non-negotiable in your head, you are going to see the results. You are going to see the results. Twice a week. I mean, let's face it, workouts, in terms of the calories burnt, if we were just using that as a metric, you're looking at what? Between 300 and 700, depending on body weight, age, gender, etc.
Yeah.
It's not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But what these workouts do is that we are trying to get adaptation in your muscles. And by getting adaptations in your muscles your body's like, hey, we need to use those muscles, because if we don't and we get this task again, we'd really like to be more efficient. If you're in a calorie deficit and your body needs to keep that muscle, that's where fat loss is prioritized. The more chances you give your body to do that per week, the better. However, I'm very aware that people have jobs. Gladys, you've got twins. Found that out the other day.
Can't believe you didn't know that.
I've just not heard any plurals. Yeah, twins fascinate me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
We both have twins in the family.
Well, Katie's got twins in the family. I'm not. I hope I'm not related to her.
Well, that would be a problem. But you maybe will have twins. So
maybe.
I maybe will have twins.
Maybe.
We
What
could
if our
have loads
twins
of
get together and we've got to have a real awkward team meeting then?
Oh, that would be fun.
By accident, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's not go down that tangent. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry, Gladys. So yeah, like I would say 3 times a week, because also 3 times a week, you have 178 hours in a week. 3 times a week is what? Less than 2% of your week. You should be able to commit to that. At Steve Marsden Fitness, we've got 50 sessions a week you can book into. That'll increase soon. So you can maintain it, because you could probably work social, family, work life around it. Some weeks it's going to be challenging, but if it's non-negotiable, that's time for you. That's time for future Gladys. I would do that. Twice a week. I mean, I feel uncomfortable unless you are doing sports or walking outside of here. I personally do not recommend twice a week. With us, it's an extra 20 quid for another session a week. If it's the money that's the issue, I mean, I'll find 20 quid from your Just Eat account or your Deliveroo account or your boozing account. Like, I will find that. If you want to save that money, I will find that for you. If you want me to keep you accountable to that, we can. But twice a week's tough if you're not doing sports, because then I feel uncomfortable because I can't predict the results.
Yeah.
1 time a week,
it's not even worth.
It's better than nothing, but
it is. Yeah, I would
better
say
than
that.
nothing. But once a week, I mean, if you miss 1 week, that's 2 weeks of that exercise. You're doing 50 sessions a year.
Only 4 workouts a month. We would feel guilty even taking money off people just to.
I used to do it, and then I was like, do you know what?
Once a week.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work, because then people aren't adhering. We're trying to build habits. How do you build a habit? 4 times every 900 hours. You see them? Nah, not for me. So anyway, answer to your question is probably 3 times a week or more.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you work out too much, let's say you're doing 6-7 sessions a week and it is intense exercise and you're not fueling yourself properly, getting enough sleep, etc., that's when the extreme the other way is just as bad. Injuries.
That ties in nicely to Liam's question.
It
actually
will, won't it? Your mood will go down a bit. Yeah. Cool. Boom. I think we answered that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Like all our questions, it depends.
Every time, honestly.
I know.
But yeah.
Right, we'll go on to Liam's then. We've segued. Do you know segue is spelled S-E-G-U-E?
No, I thought it was Segway, as in like W-A.
Like that thing that all those kids were having 2 years ago that caused loads of accidents.
Yeah, that caused actual chaos.
Yeah. No. Sieg.
Interesting.
Segway. Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah. We cover reading, phonetics, and fat loss on this podcast.
I love it.
Right, pals. Liam Mills. Shout out to Liam Mills.
Shout out to Liam.
Yeah.
Another one that we love.
See, I tagged him on the WhatsApp group
No,
this morning.
I've not checked it.
One of the new people who's joined has asked, do you think HelloFresh is better than Gusto? So I've
Here comes the HelloFresh rant from Liam.
Yeah. We do not have any opinion on products that are better. Yeah.
Shouldn't have said that.
Do you know, it's okay. In this free capitalist market we live in, it's okay to say we prefer one or the other.
Yep.
And it's okay for Liam to express an opinion on that, but let's nip that one in the bud. Right, Liam has asked, how do you avoid aching? Now, I'm going to provide context for this because, I mean, I've actually not talked to him about this, but I will. I think he was aching after testing week. That's well normal. Aching is pretty normal. If we do something new with your body's like, whoa, we need to repair from this. Give us a chance. That's sort of what aching is. But what's your take on this question? Let's answer it from the perspective of a new person coming to the gym. Aching if we do something new, but then also bad aching.
Like injury aching for the last part. So I mean, all right, okay, cool. So someone first coming in for the first session before they even start the gym, I'm like, listen, have you booked in for another session? Because some people get dead keen and they book in the next day or 2 days after. And I'll say to them, look, cancel that session. Wait and see how you feel, because this is a shock to the system. Your body, like you say, it's a bit like, well, what the hell's going on? It takes you a while to recover, to start, and it's just because it's something new. It's new stimulus for your body. You're using muscles that probably haven't been used in a very long time, being put into positions that you probably haven't been in a very long time, etc. Like even our mobility stuff as well, like seeing how immobile some people are when they first come in. So that's something that I always say is, whatever I say push as hard as you like today. I'm not going to go crazy for the first wee while, but no matter what you do to your body, you're going to feel sore tomorrow and maybe for the next couple of days. For it's called delayed onset muscle soreness for your DOMS, it's usually 12 to 72 hours. So I always say 3 to 4 days and then book in for your next session. I know, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, I know this used to be the case for you, that you'd feel sore like that day, like 12 hours after.
I'm a 12-hour guy.
Yeah, I'm a 24-hour, like literally bang on from whenever I started working out the next again day. That's when I'll start feeling it and feel at its sorest. So everyone's different, but it is completely normal to, when you're putting your body through new stress, for it to take a little bit to get used to. In terms of, what was the second one? After testing.
Just something new. So like, if we had a new exercise, or testing week was new because we were in 3 rep ranges.
Yep.
Really good technique and stuff, but we usually train people in 15, 12, 10, 8. It's like that some people can get sore from that. So,
well, it's the same principle. It's just the same as a new person starting with basic exercises. Any of our guys doing something they've not done before. It's engaging muscles you've not before, or maybe actually learning how to properly engage them. That can sometimes take a while as well. But yeah, it's that whole same principle of doing something new is going to hurt it to start with. It's going to feel a little bit weird until you've built up that mind to muscle connection and those movement patterns. It takes a wee while. You need to be patient with it.
You do. And then the last one.
What was the last one? That's terrible.
Is it?
My memory, yeah.
Jeez.
What was the last one?
Not going to tell you. I'm going to have an awkward 5 minutes here. Bad aching.
Oh, yeah.
This is the one I look out for a lot. And I actually, Liam, just if you are listening, this is one that could apply to you based on your other question, which I'm not going to answer just yet, about ultra marathons.
Yep. You can usually, people can usually tell the difference between muscle soreness and when there's a problem.
Do you think?
I think a lot of the time they can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark Johnston. No offence, Mark. Just absolutely shamed you on my podcast, but you love it really when I mention you and Jackie.
I suppose it depends. When you get to know the people and how their bodies move, you can kind of tell, and it's different from us to like an online coach or anything, because we see how people move in the gym, and we can kind of expect when something will be sore and not. So that's a hard one.
Yeah, like I found, like when I train people, and let's say, and Mark, I'm going to use you an example because I think your work ethic is absolutely amazing, but sometimes it holds you back. We've got many people like that. Usually it's type A personality, a little bit like me. They just do too much and then they eat too little. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing too much, so let's say you're weight training 5 times a week, and then you're also doing cardio, or you're doing Tabatas at home from YouTube, etc., but then you're in a calorie deficit, your body just doesn't have enough resources to recover. You're reinforcing movement patterns because you're a bit knackered that might not be working for you. And therefore you can get aches and pains. And this is when like knee pain starts. And that I said to Liam the other day about like, do you know what I mean? If you're going to do an ultra marathon, that's a lot of exercise. And what we need to do is keep your infrastructure moving well enough so that you do recover. So hips, knees, ankles, shoulders. And that's why we do a hell of a lot of mobility in the gym compared to probably, I would love to do more, but we have a finite amount of time and we do have goals to hit. But we try and keep people fresh. So aching wise, aching's really normal. I would just say hot bath, magnesium salts, get a massage, do your mobility.
Sleep well.
Focus on recovery, and recovery is sleep, food, and then sort of just keeping your body nice and healthy. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Right, we'll do a quick last one because you've got a session to run in a minute. You've got lives to change, Natasha.
I do have lives to change.
Yeah, God, it goes quick when we start chatting.
It does. I know. I can't believe the time.
I know. It's running out.
It is.
Always. Remember that.
Okay.
Memento mori. Cool. Right, how do you calculate calories in a home-cooked meal?
Most important thing is to weigh things. Home cooked meals, you can undertrack. I think it's like 30 to 40% if you don't weigh stuff. That's what I always tell everybody in the nutrition chats, is for the first few weeks at least with your regular meals, just weigh it so you know what kind of portion sizes you're having and stuff. For home cooked stuff, it's on MyFitnessPal, for example, add every ingredient if you can. It can be a bit of a ball ache. Sorry if you have to censor that.
Nah, I think balls are
Is
fine.
that fine? Right, cool.
Yeah.
It can be a bit of a ball ache, but if you're going to track, just do it properly. It makes the world a difference. It's the more data that we have, the more we can help you. That's how I always pitch it to everyone. Add every ingredient that you can at the weight that you can. That's the most accurate that you can do it, instead of just typing in generic chicken curry, for example. It'll come up 300 calories, and I promise you that the chicken curry you're having at home definitely is not. It's the same as sort of a couple of podcasts ago when we spoke about the diet strategies one, when we spoke about eating out, putting something's better than nothing and sort of overestimating how much you've had to compensate for that. But yeah, that's how I go about it, is all the ingredients in front of you, put them all into MyFitnessPal, weighed, it's as accurate as you can get calorie wise.
Yeah, that's it. And if it's a home cooked meal you cook all the time, save it as a meal.
Yeah.
Save it as a recipe. Boom, it's on there. It's a lot of work up front, but weigh every ingredient, stick it in, and then at least it keeps you right. Because if, let's say, this thing's 1,200 calories per portion, and you have found a generic one at 300, and there's 900 calories missing, and you have that meal 3 times a week, 2,700 calories, do you know what I mean? That's 50 pounds of fat in a year.
Yeah.
That's frightening. 4 stone on that we didn't know about, and you're tracking and you believe you're tracking well.
Yeah.
That's where these mistake happens. If you do the work up front, it's cool. Otherwise, what we can do is, I mean, we could try and find a generic one, but it depends on how much butter people are having, oils, cheeses.
Yeah, everyone's so different, and that's the first thing that I look for whenever someone comes to me for the food side of things, get them to do a week or 2 weeks food diary, and it's the first thing I look at their MyFitnessPal. How are things actually getting logged? And then I know by now, by looking at it, how accurate their tracking is. The more ingredients I see and the more filled the diary is, then the better. I was going to say music to my ears. It's by looking at it, you know what I mean? Makes me happy when I see
Letters
more
to your
stuff.
eyes. Words to your eyes.
You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's what I would say for that one.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. Succinct. As always, Natasha, right?
I know we'll speak to you about the ultramarathon, Liam.
Yeah, we'll just speak to you about that, because guarantee you, he wants to run Hadrian's Wall 70 miles in a day. Nah. Yeah. We'll talk to you just about that in person, mate. But listen, everyone, if you have any questions, you can email me, steve@stevemarsdenfitness.com. Yeah, anything you want, really. We're happy to descend into smut, but also sort of
cover all bases.
High caliber existentialism on this podcast, as well as food and that. But if you need any help, give us a shout. Yeah, love to you all. Hope you're all safe, healthy, well, strong, true, all of that stuff. But say bye-bye to the people, Natasha.
Bye, trips.
See you later, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Normal People Fitness podcast. If you need any help, then give me a shout at www.stevemarsdenfitness.com. Have an amazing day, and hopefully I'll see you soon.